I'm Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown. What brought you to USC from Stanford for your final year?
Yeah, I always kind of looked up to the USC diving team. I competed against them 4 years back to back, and always just kind of admired how hard they worked. Had an awesome team culture. I'm getting my master's in entrepreneurship and innovation here too. That was kind of a huge pull for me. I wanted to experience something different for my 5th year, and it's really just been awesome so far. The people I met and working with the team has been great.
Tell us about diving and what you like about it, how you got into it. You think about diving, you think, how does someone get into diving? It was never in my forte, the dive. I was never.
No way.
I was more of a flopper than a diver. But how does one get into diving?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get this a lot, actually. I was on a swim team with my older brother when I was super young. And I was so bad at swimming, like was getting last in every race. I was freezing cold. And I'd see the kids jumping off the diving board. I was like, that looks actually so fun. I was like, I want to go over there. So I did one day, and that was the summer that I was like 6 years old. And I just loved it. And I started doing it through the winters, started doing it competitively when I was like 9. So super young. And, I've loved it ever since. I love the adrenaline. You're always doing something new. You're always a little scared, but not too scared.
I'd be terrified.
Me too.
And a big reason I'd be terrified is like the highest board, like that's too much for me. And there's different levels to it, right? Mm-hmm. And you compete on do you compete on all three or all levels, or just the lowest one?
I mostly do 3 meter springboard.
3 meter?
Yeah, I did tower when I was younger, but you usually specialize either springboard or platform as you get a bit older.
And so what makes one diver better at the platform versus the springer? What's the skill set that you need to specialize in one versus the other?
That's a good question, actually. I think springboard divers have to focus a bit more on like balance, control, and like rhythm with the board, and platform is just, you got to be super courageous and super quick. So it's really what you prefer and what you kind of gravitate towards as you're growing up, but you can do both. It's really just personal preference.
Yeah, it seemed like more of like a platformer, I think.
Is that you?
Yeah, I'm quick and yeah, that kind of thing.
Our diving coach is a man named Hung Ping Lee, who's been here a very long time. I think he's our longest tenured head coach. What's work with Hung Ping like?
Oh my God, Hong Ping is awesome. He's been whipping me into shape. I mean, I got here, we had a long meeting about, my goals for the year, and he really knows what he's talking about. Like, there are some things I've been struggling with in my diving, like technique-wise, for a while, and I got here within the first couple of weeks. Like, he'd identified them all. We'd made a plan for attack, and like I've been seeing really great results in my progress. Our season hasn't really kicked off in full swing yet, but I'm so stoked to be working with him. Just the way that he manages our team and the amount of knowledge he has. He's been here for, years and years, and done such amazing work.
Great ones too.
Yeah, it's really an honor to be able to work with him this year.
What's your favorite dive, and then what's your scariest dive, the one you're most nervous of doing?
Okay, this is also a good question.
I'm just killing it with the good questions.
I think my favorite dive is probably a full out, which is a front 2.5 pike with a full twist in the middle. So you do like 1.5 flips, and then you pike out, and then you do a twist, but you flip while you do that, and then you go in.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, that one's my favorite because it looks cool.
Pike out means to switch your body position to vertical?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Good context clues.
I'm just trying to follow along here. This is like, most of the time they're up there talking about football, and it's coded and really confusing, and now we're doing diving code that's confusing.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for a translator.
Yeah, and then I think my scariest one is reverse 2.5 pike, which is you're facing forwards and you do 2.5 flips backwards.
Everything backwards.
And that one's always just so scary because if you're leaving the board, you don't have the right balance. You can't really, you don't know how far away from the board you are, and you're just hoping and praying.
Any close calls with the board?
Oh, yeah. I'm notorious at practice for being the worst about that because, some people will get close and they'll just, come out of the water. Someone will be like, you're close. I'm close. I'm in, midair. I scream. Oh. Everyone's like, you're fine. And I'm like, okay, just making sure. But I'm always the one to, be so dramatic about it.
You mentioned you came here, master's in entrepreneurship, and I understand you already got a little bit of that bug in you. You started Elite. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Elite is spelled with 2 E's.
Yes, ELETE.
Well, yeah, I guess elite has 2 E's, so it has 3 E's in it.
3 E's. Yeah, so me and my best friend and roommate at Stanford, she plays soccer there. We started Elite our senior year. It's a platform that connects college athletes with youth athletes for private lessons and mentorship sessions. And we really started this in anticipation of the name, image, and likeness law that changed last summer. And going into our senior year, we really kind of felt inclined to do something to help our community, not just our Stanford student athlete community, but also our youth athletic communities, both at home and in the Bay Area. And we both done a bit of work in that space already. I mentored some girls from my club team. She did private lessons, and we really valued that and saw how impactful those relationships were for those kids and for us. So we just wanted to find a way to streamline that and make that opportunity accessible for all college athletes who want to find a way to monetize their name, image, and likeness, and for all youth athletes who want to build relationships with their role models and work towards their goals together.
Woo.
Love that.
Everyone calls you Lina. Your full first name is Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who James Taylor is? This is the question I was asking while I was prepping for your interview, and nobody in their 20s knew who James Taylor was.
Of course, I know who James Taylor is.
Is that what your parents named you after that song?
Oh, really?
Thank you, Gia, and all involved behind the scenes who don't know who James Taylor is. Do your research. Lina certainly has. Lina Sculti, USC Diver, get to Utang Zoo. Their season really gets going after the turn of the year. So crazy sport. Go out there, watch USC swim and dive. Check out usctrojans.com for their schedule.